So what in the world is this? And why haven't I heard about it sooner? I want to thank my friend Brian, my YouTube friend Brian, for kind of putting the worm in my ear about seed snails. What I've got inside of here is about 600, three different varieties of onion seeds. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go upstairs. I'm going to show you how I made these, show you how I planted them, and let's get to it. All right, I got to be perfectly honest. When I came up to make this video, I messed up. Somehow, I had my camera set in slow motion. So I filmed in slow motion, making 6 of these seed snails. So I'm going to make this one up the correct way. Let me show you what we're going to need. Get this kind of a foam packing material at your local big box hardware store. I got this at Lowe's. I think it was $15 for 75 feet. I'm probably going to use pretty much the most of this year. I do a lot of planting. But you're going to need this. Now, some folks are using cardboard seed sacks, like this right here. This is the first time I've done it. So we're going to go ahead and do it this way. Next thing you're going to need is some scissors to be able to cut that. And we're going to need some tape. So once we get it all rolled together, we can tape it up tight so it's not going to fall apart on us. And you're going to want to have, at least I do, a pen to mark down the seeds that you put in there, because if you're anything like me, you're going to forget how to do it. So after doing the 6 rolls yesterday, I found that about 3 feet worked really well to make about a 5 to 6 inch size roll, depending on how much soil you put in it. And that worked pretty well for me. Now the other thing we're going to do, because we don't want it to be 12 inches tall, is we're going to cut it in half. And I think about the 6 inches that we're going to cut it to is great for the onions we're going to plant, because onions are going to send down those roots. And like with anything, you know, the deeper and longer their roots can get, the more nutrition the plant can get. So that's where we're going to go with this. This is probably the most difficult part of the whole thing, is getting it to cut straight. But it worked. Okay. Now we're gonna do the fun part. We're gonna put the soil in the seed snail. Now you want to leave a little bit of room on the start end and on the finished end, because you want to have a little bit of overlap when you actually go to roll it out. One thing about the soil here, this is my seed starting mix. Worm castings is a big part of this. If you're interested in learning how I make my seed starter, I'm gonna try to post a link at the bottom in the comments section of this, or if not, just go to my channel. It'll be a good time to subscribe, and it'll be there. And I show you the ingredients that I use. Now, having made, like I said, 6 of them yesterday, the first ones I started off with, I didn't add enough soil, because once you roll it, it's going to compact. So I had to kind of adjust the amount that I was using. One of the other things that I don't know if it's going to work exactly the way I think it's going to work, but that whatever is going to be the top end of the roll, I'm going to add a little bit of extra soil up there. So it's going to kind of make a, when it's all together, kind of a funnel, so that the soil won't be as apt to fall out the bottom of the seed snail roll. It seemed like it worked. I didn't have a lot of fallout or drainage from the soil when I went to roll it up. So, okay, that's pretty much it. Now we roll it up like a, kind of like a burrito. Now, as you're rolling, kind of keep an eye on the edges here to make sure that you're not spiraling off. Oh. One other thing we're going to do. Notice how this is really crumbly? Well, we are going to spray this down a little bit more. And what spraying it down is, it helps to keep the soil more in place as you roll it. You don't have to put a whole lot on, just enough to kind of give the soil something to adhere to. I guess would be a way of putting it. But you don't want to make it so squishy that when you roll it up, you got water coming out of the ends. And we just roll it up. You're going to lose some soil out of it. I noticed that when I roll it, you don't want to really press it, but you want to give enough pressure so that you got a good contact between the foam here and the soil itself. You don't want any big air gaps in it. Oh, one thing that I forgot to do, when you get to the end and you grab that last part and you pull it up, take the time before you get to that part and cut your tape so that you've got that handy. Otherwise, you're going to go through this. Nope, that one actually came off pretty easily. I found that taping the bottom section and kind of pulling it in tight, again, you're trying to make that funnel, if you will, works really well. Kind of just pull it tight a little bit as you would like with wrapping paper on a Christmas present, birthday present. And folks, that is it. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of poke this all down so that when I put my seeds in there, I've got enough of a room, headspace here, if you will, so I can add more soil on top of the seeds that I plant. Now, because I planted all of my onion seeds already yesterday when I messed this whole video up, or that video up, I don't have any more onion seeds to put in there. So what I would do, simply take the seeds, sprinkle them around. Take a handful of soil, put it in, then pat it all down real good again. Then take your sprayer or your whatever you got and mist it all down. That way you got good seed to soil contact and moisture for the seeds to germinate. And that's pretty much about it. I'm really enjoying doing this. I think it works pretty well. All right. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more videos on my seed starting. In fact, one of the upcoming videos is going to be how the germination was in the seed snail here and what the plants look like. We're going to kind of follow that along with videos to show the progression. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, welcome to my bomb shelter, otherwise known as my seed starting room. That bird's been up there a long time. This room hasn't been used for a while. It's seed starting, beekeeping equipment, storage, but this is where now I've got my little seed snails with my onions. I've got them on a heating mat. I just put the probe in there. Now this room, even though it's right next to the furnace outside of here, and the wood stove, which is down in the basement, is only at 54 degrees. Now, onions, they say germinate between 50 and 75 or so. So I've got the temp probe in there. I want to heat them up to about 68. In a very short time, there's going to be a whole lot more stuff on here. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you later. All right, so we've got that done. Everything's planted. We're good to go. I'll tell you what, I like this. If I'd have done the same thing with seed starter cells in trays or just a tray sprinkling seeds on, I think it would have taken me a whole lot longer and it would have required a lot more soil. I like the fact that I think the moisture is going to stay in here well. There is going to be a cover on here. I'll show you that later. But I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out. Now, this is going to be an ongoing thing. I'm going to show you, every week or two or so how they're growing. But I think one of the main things that I like about this the most is that when I do onions, and I plant a lot of onions, obviously, 600, taking them from here out into the field and pulling them out and separating them out, it takes a lot of work. I think unrolling these seed snails is going to be a whole lot easier. I can lay them right out, right where I want to plant them, boom, 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 pop them in the ground. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Yes, these are seed snails.